Welcome to the Tiny House Ideas podcast, the show where we talk about how to live a more fulfilling life with less. My name's Harry Alvarez Garman, and I've got tons of exciting guests lined up for you, including authors, entrepreneurs, and tiny house owners. If you love minimalism, sustainable living, personal development, and everything in between, then you're in the right place. On the show, we'll be talking about how you can do more of what you love, how to turn your passion into a career, and how to live more sustainably. Well, it is an absolute pleasure to have you all on the podcast. It has been a long time coming. We sort of got to know each other through Instagram, through sort of DMing each other and sort of have continued talking over the last year and a half. And it's been amazing to see how you guys have grown TinyEasy, and the Instagram, the plans that you're selling, the website and everything is all just fantastic. So I'm really, really excited to talk to you guys more about sort of what drew you to the business and what your future plans are, and just to get into it.
Awesome to catch up with you again, Harry. It's been a while.
It has.
We met up, I'd say just around when we started TinyEasy. Actually, it was just when we started out with our Instagram. It was 500 followers or something like that. Yeah. So we're at a different point here, and so it's awesome. We've really been friends for a long time now, and it's awesome.
We have, no, for sure. And I mean that's great, because we sort of came into contact through Instagram, and I remember sort of DMing the account TinyEasy, and then found out that you were all sort of the exact same age as me with the exact same interests. So it's just amazing to sort of find people in the same industry that are sort of so similar, so like-minded. So it's been great to sort of build a friendship and build a business relationship with you all, and it's a pleasure to sort of be able to speak to you and to discuss everything more. So I guess the first starting point is where did TinyEasy come about?
Right. Yeah, I'd love to give a little bit more backstory on that. So it initially with Eugene and me, I think about 3 to 4 years ago, when we were first initially planning to build our own tiny house. And it's all started out with a planning journey when we decided we want to build our own tiny house for the two of us in the future. And we started getting all of that information together. We had a backstory of experience in the tiny house industry. We've been working together with Shay's Tiny Homes, a great New Zealand tiny house builder, physically, but also creating plans. So we had some initial information there already, but it's completely different when you're actually starting out to build your own tiny house. There's so much information you're trying to gather so you can successfully start your journey. So we've realized once we actually started building our own tiny house that there are a lot of people just like us out there. And we wanted to pass on all of the information that we have put together and create a platform for people like us to actually use the information and build their own tiny homes. So that is the initial idea of TinyEasy. Of course, it's a long road. We started 1.5 years ago, and we first started out with a few little plan packages, understanding what people wanted, and then to sum it up really quickly, leading up to November last year, 2021. We've been working together with our audience to really improve on our first offering, and we have now just launched our new plan packages that are available now on our website, which are basically the most comprehensive DIY plan packages that we would have wished to use ourselves as well when we first started building.
Amazing.
Go ahead. Just to quickly when we actually first started, it was during the first lockdown. The three of us kind of sat down together. We all had like a background in design and everything. We were all passionate about it, and we were like, okay, this seems like a really great time to do this together,
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, we knew that we could help a lot of people already back then. And over these years now, there are 1.5 years, 2 years coming up now, with building TinyEasy, we've just learned so much more even about tiny homes and just accumulated all of this knowledge. And it's just such a pleasure to now actually be able to start passing on that knowledge and just help more people in the tiny house community to actually go tiny, which is really awesome to see.
Exactly. I mean, it's such an amazing sort of business to have an impact on so many people sort of around the world completely. Because I mean, I'm speaking to you from the UK. You guys are obviously New Zealand. We're on opposite sides of the world, different time zones, and you're sort of able to sort of form connections and form relationships with people all over the world. And sort of we're all sort of coming together around the concept of the tiny house, and the plans that you guys are offering. Having had a look through them myself is just amazing and just so comprehensive. And I think such a huge point you mentioned as well is obviously Lauren and Eugene, you were sort of building the tiny house, and that's you've sort of used that experience to put together packages and things that you would have wished you have had when you started, which I think is such a huge point. So how was the build process for you? How did Tiny House go?
So the build process, we're actually nearly done with it now. We're just doing the last little finishing touches. So yeah, the hard part is done. Getting the main structure out there. We've actually just finished painting the interior, which was just great to see it all come together. But yeah, as a whole, the build process, it's a big learning experience. I mean, as both of us, we have our experience in design, architecture, but we don't have that like direct experience of physically building. We're not trained builders, so of course you're picking up a lot of things on the go. We're working together with friends to pick up all of these skills like plumbing, electrical, and then also how do you even stand a frame?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm quite short, so when we got the frames, it was a bit of a struggle. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. But timber is quite heavy. You don't realize until you're actually holding it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so even like small things like that, you just figure out along the way. But that is just a beautiful journey of being able to do the whole thing yourself. When you initially plan something out, it might be as simple of like, how big is the shower and how do you install the wall that's next to it, how do you waterproof, and when you actually get into these things and you figure these out as you go, you can actually in the end take that knowledge and actually pass it on to people. And like just things I've learned, I don't know, 1 month, 3 months ago, I could already help people with that are in the exact same position. So
I have to try and figure out themselves, because I know that was a bit of a headache for us, just sort of having to work it out and call people up and like, hey, how do you do this?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So overall, the journey's been great, but a really good learning experience.
Yeah. Well, also amazing learning experience to see, well, what is it that you actually wanted to have? Like, to actually learn from, because when you start building a tiny house, there's just so much information that you don't know, and there's information that you don't know because you don't know other information, and so you just start discovering more things, one after the other. And because Lauren and Eugene have been through that process, it's just amazing because they just keep bringing new information to the table that would have just simply not been in those plans. And now, it's just adding to it all the time.
It changes the way you design as well, because you've got more perspective, you've got more knowledge. It's not just designing a floor plan. Yeah, that works, but you're like, actually, this works functionally as well, because exactly
because
Legos, you know how everything works. But like, I don't want to create hassle for these guys, so I'm going to design it really nicely, so that you can do it really nicely as well. So
Amazing. That all sounds great. And obviously you've been able to take away so many sort of valuable tips that like we said, you've been able to put into the plan. So I guess my next question is what sort of initially drew you to the tiny lifestyle, to wanting to live in a tiny house and then design tiny house plans?
To be honest, honestly, you guys started on it. You guys were first to start with your tiny house plots.
I'd love to start out with that. Sounds good. So, I mean, the initial idea, it's actually funny. We met Bryce of Living Big in the Tiny House, I think, back in 2013. That was a really crazy coincidence how we met him. It was through some family friends, and that was our first interaction with a tiny home. It's the first time we stood in a tiny home. He was just building his first, own design. He's living in now, I'm pretty sure. But that was their first contact and kind of sparked that first idea. But the real reason why the two of us have decided to live in tiny houses is that we can actually live in our own place without having a massive mortgage, but also being able to live a really minimal and considered lifestyle that doesn't require a massive property that's going to cost you $2 million. And it's just really nice to know that everything that you really need is in that place, and that's it. And of course, that plays into the environmental factor, of course, as well. We all love not having a massive footprint, and we're very aware of that, especially in a country like New Zealand, that it's such a green environment. And if you can, do your best to live intentionally as well in that case, that is just beautiful. And tiny homes can just enable it. So there's a lot of little factors that played into it. It's just a great lifestyle.
And then also at the same time, what you were saying, it's okay, well, you don't have to have a massive mortgage, but like all of us, we're quite young, and if you think about it, there's a lot of people, and you are as well, there's a lot of people in our age that are struggling to even get their foot on the property ladder, and because of the prices of the housing market have just skyrocketed like crazy, and tiny houses just give such an amazing opportunity to live in a beautiful space that is well designed while not spending, $1 million, something like this here in New Zealand, which is
your own.
Exactly, it is your own. You don't need to rent anything. So you can come home to your own house that that in your guys' instance you build yourself, or a professional builder has built, and you can just have a peace of mind, go to sleep, that you don't need to pay someone else's mortgage, or you pay off a huge mortgage that you still have to pay for another 30 years. So
and you can modify it as much as you want. So
you can make your own.
I mean, we've been renting our whole life, and I mean, so many people, of course, are in the same position that are moving to a tiny house. Renting to a tiny house, and you get to appreciate that when you are actually in your own place. You say, I really want to hang a picture at that wall. You can.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that.
There's the simple things,
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I mean, obviously that's sort of very resonates with me as well, because I'm sort of in the same boat in terms of being young and sort of the mortgages and the house prices, and also demand as well, because the demand for housing is so high here, and I can imagine it is as well in New Zealand, that it's just that the supply isn't able to sort of keep up with that. So it does make buying a house a sort of almost unachievable goal for the majority of sort of younger people, I'd say as well. So it's great that there's an option, an alternative that is more customizable, more personalizable. You're sort of able to obviously move it around, and it can tailor your needs and tick all those sort of simple boxes as well, like being able to really make it your own, and have your own sort of curated space where you can focus on sort of living life how you want to, and doing the things that you want to. So there's just so many huge points there, which is why it's sort of so exciting that you guys are being able to move in soon. I bet you're so excited.
We can't wait. Great. I mean, it's just around the corner, and we see it. We continue, and it's so close now. So the excitement is really starting up, and it's just also that lifestyle that can just come from that. You live in your house, you live in the tiny house, but because your expenses are so low, you can actually focus on doing the things you really enjoy doing. For us, of course, it is working with TinyEasy. That is just great, but also hobbies like surfing, hiking, sports, or just going out with friends. That is just a lot more possible, because you don't have to worry about a massive overhead for your rent, and you can just come back into your home that also is your own. So it adds a little bit to our excitement.
Yeah, exactly. You can work less if you want to, if that's something that you want to do, because your overheads are so small, and that just frees up so much time, which is just incredible. It's such an alternative to what's the tradition, just
exactly.
Just because tradition doesn't mean that you have to follow that tradition. And for a few years now, the tiny house movement just brings that amazing alternative, and it's just so exciting to see it actually becoming more popular now as well. There's just so many people, already older people actually are loving it, and then our age range, from 20 to 30, are also now catching it onto that movement, and starting to love it and see it as a completely normal alternative to usual housing, which is so exciting. And we can help people in that age range as well, which is just so satisfying.
I can imagine just such a satisfying and such a fulfilling thing to do, because obviously you guys are sort of, you mentioned as well, it's about sort of being able to put your sort of priorities first. And if working less is something you'd like to do, if sort of living your life more now, I mean, it's all about sort of, like we said, you mentioned the sort of the standard, typical, what everyone does, the sort of 9 to 5, you're working until you retire, and then you can sort of enjoy your life. But why can't you enjoy your life now? Why can't you sort of focus on the things that you really want to do now straight away? Because life is short, and you're able to sort of put your own priorities and just live life how you want to, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives you a canvas essentially that you can paint. You can just decide, okay, what do I want to do today? Do I want to work on our business in this case? Do we want to help more people with TinyEasy? Do we just want to go to a beach? It's just exactly. So you can go today. It doesn't matter, because you don't have that pressure on you, and that's just so amazing, that alternative.
Yeah, and additionally with the tiny house, and we're in a lucky position that, or anyone who has a tiny house is in the lucky position to find a property that is actually closer to your favorite spot. It might be a surfing spot, it might be a hiking, biking, or anything, which is just incredible. So we have a specific beach here in New Zealand that we love. It's called Piha Beach. For anyone in the UK, look it up. It's incredible. But yeah, so, that is the possibility that we can actually move our tiny house closer. So we can actually live at the beautiful space that we always just visit. And you don't even have to own a property. You just need a small little section of a property.
Yeah. Exactly. So I guess I'm also very interested to know, obviously we've sort of heard about the tiny house and your sort of plans for that as you look to move in and sort of lifestyle as well. So obviously, am I right in saying you guys were studying architecture at university and then you sort of went on to found the business over lockdown?
Yeah, so I personally have finished studying architecture just last year. And Lauren is still in the process of studying at the moment. He's going to continue sometime later. But yeah, we were using all of that knowledge that we have already gained in those. But also, we've actually grown up in a family of architects as well. We were just exposed to design the whole time.
From a young age, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I still remember when we were 5 or 6 or something like that, we were watching our dad in his own office draw a house plan. So this is awesome, and since then, kind of ingrained in our head, and it's just you just stick with that, and because of that, we've just been obsessed with design, and now that's coming up with tiny houses, and with our studies, we can put that professionalism in our plans. But apart from the studies, it's also the knowledge that we have gained through your experience and through also just talking to so many people in the tiny house industry, and not just the community, but also the builders and craftspeople. That's just a whole nother knowledge base that you wouldn't necessarily learn in architecture school, because a tiny house is a tiny house. It's still quite different to a regular house. You wouldn't put a regular house in a trailer, and so there's just so much extra knowledge that goes into that. And I feel just because we've just been spending so much time actually researching that field, we just have this incredible base of knowledge that we can now pass on. Yeah, true, to be honest. Yeah,
I think I had a completely different upbringing. Not architects. My dad's like a part-time drummer, part-time English teacher, and my mum's early childhood teacher. So, I just had a completely different upbringing. I don't know, I just kind of steered towards the design industry.
Yeah,
anyways.
naturally.
You're always very creative.
Yeah, like since we both got to know you like ages ago, you've been drawing every day. And so I guess that's where you started probably.
And I think I've seen you develop as well. I mean, when we first started TinyEasy, we had a few of our initial plans. I think I did the first plan. I think it's Tiny House. That was a very architectural design, but then because you have so much connection with our audience, because of course you work on Instagram every single day, you talk to everyone there. And then you started designing the tiny homes, and now you create better ones than the two of us can.
All of those wishes and ideas.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually so amazing to look at all of those comments on Instagram saying, I love this, but this would be a nice thing to actually have in a tiny house, or this better, dangerous, maybe change this around. All of these awesome comments and this feedback just directly goes into the design. You designed Scandi, didn't you?
Yeah. That's a bit of
one of our favorites.
A late night idea. I was like, "Ooh, that's good work."
Yeah,
amazing.
And then 3 weeks of perfecting that.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating. So that's obviously great. You said you're able to sort of use the sort of social media to help fuel the designs, and you're sort of also involved in the process. How have you found it as being sort of young entrepreneurs in this industry?
Honestly, it's I honestly think that if you are building a business, it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. Personally, we were all very interested in design, and so we knew that we wanted to help people with the knowledge that we've already gathered beforehand, and that we will also gain during the journey. But I guess it's not really different to any industry. It's just you just really need to dive into the topic need to understand everything that there is to it, and then build something around that helps people. And I think that applies to every industry. It doesn't matter, if it is soap, if it is a if it is a food product or something like that. If you create something that actually benefits people, and they go away from it and say, okay, this is something that has really helped me or has impacted me in some way, that is the goal. And in our case, it's tiny houses. And to be honest, the community has been amazing. We've just met so many amazing people like you during our journey. And for example, if you want to talk about it later with Fritz Tiny Homes, Shay's Tiny Homes, people from all over the world, you just meet so many people. And so you just start building that community, and that gives you that support then to even keep developing even further, and gives you that energy to develop your products, develop your company, that then in turn helps as many people as possible. So
I think it's also the community that we're, I guess, trying to serve. Their feedback and their support is just what keeps us going as well. They're constant support, and sometimes it's not perfect. Not every day is perfect. Sometimes it's a challenge, and those comments, like those really beautiful comments that you get back on social media or through email or something, really pushes you up and being like,
really uplifts you.
Totally.
It's such an amazing community. Like we didn't really know about that before we got into it,
we were part of it. Now we're trying to
exactly. But because we were helping other people go tiny now, it's just you just discover so many people, and we would have had no idea that this amazing community exists, and we wouldn't be able to be where we are now without it.
Amazing. And we are so lucky to sort of be in such a great welcoming community, and to sort of be able to have so many people to sort of form connections with and build connections with. And like we said, we have obviously met each other through Instagram, and we've sort of been in touch. We've sort of got the Slack chat, and we discuss, we help each other out with each of our businesses, and sort of sending over book recommendations, things like that. So it's sort of great that we're able to support each other in terms of the business side of things and the sort of tiny house side of things, and hopefully have some very exciting collaborations coming up that everyone listening can look out for. And like you said, you've sort of been able to make some of the great connections, and you mentioned as well, sort of like Heather at Fritz and some other people that you've met.
Yeah, we connected with Fritz Tiny Homes, and Heather and Kevin and Troy. They're all just so amazing. They're like the nicest people, and we've been working together to help develop one of their tiny house models that they've designed, and so we've just created some 3D renders that we generally show on our own Instagram for them as well, so they can help promote their own design towards their audience and help their audience visualize how that space can look like. And it's just been such an amazing journey so far. And there's just so much fun to work with.
She is good fun. Yeah.
It's really interesting, like what you realize with the tiny house community. It's because everyone loves tiny homes around the world. It really makes the world smaller in a way, because you just connect with so many people all over the world, and in your case, you connected with Heather, we connected with you, Harry, and it's just amazing because everyone seems to have the same goal, and because of that, you just form amazing friendships, and it doesn't stop. Let's say, we're in New Zealand, it doesn't stop here. It goes to Australia, it goes to Canada, it goes to the USA. It's just incredible.
Exactly. And speaking of all of those areas, with your tiny house plans as well, that's sort of places that you're able to reach as well. And I know that you're sort of working on having the plans in Imperial as well, so they can sort of be accessed all over the world. If you'd like to sort of discuss how people everywhere can access and use them.
That's right. So for sure. That's right. So first of all, you're right. Getting them converted to the Imperial system is a big point on our list. That's completely right. And we will be working together with Fritz Tiny Homes to get their insight how you build in that system. It is very different. It's different. There's really specific things to look out for.
You have to also consider climate as well.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got completely different climates in New Zealand. It's really warm here, and
it's good.
Humid and stuff.
It's right now.
But that's the thing. So it's really good to understand. An expert's position who's been doing it in that specific industry, and being able to learn. And actually provide something that works in that area. So that's why we've been waiting a little bit with that conversion. So we wanted to make the metric system perfect first, and then once we understand and learn the Imperial system, we're then confident to expand that and offer the plans to everyone worldwide. We had even now, of course, they're just in the period system, which is, about 50-50 around the world. It's already been such a good response. We had people from Brazil, we had people from, I think, Russia, the UK, Israel, like just basically every country that you can imagine has somehow interacted with our plans, have interacted with us, and that's just really great. So something that we haven't even ever thought about.
Yeah. We started out with just making the plans for New Zealand and Australia because we're just so familiar with the regulations and everything around building tiny in this area here. And so all of our designs that are up on our website at the moment, they're mainly for Australia and New Zealand, but we've got so many fans all over the world that you've got, what Lauren said, people from Russia, people from the UK that get those plans and build their own tiny homes and just make them work for their own country, which is so amazing to see. And just, I think 1 week after the launch, back in November for our new plans, we had a person from the UK reach out to us who bought our plans for Scandi. And he was saying, oh, this is so amazing. I'm going to DIY this and I'm going to change these plans a little bit myself. And yes, I'm going to start DIYing this tiny house in the summer with your plans help. And it's just so amazing to see that, initially we made these plans for New Zealand and Australia, and then they end up exactly on the other side.
Everywhere.
People start building their homes.
Yeah, that must be so cool to sort of see coming to real life just everywhere, these plans that you had. And like Eugene, you said, just a late night idea for one of the plans. And now you're sort of over the coming months, I'd imagine, sort of see people who are building them, who are sort of bringing that late night thought to a reality, and they end up living in it, which is just such a cool concept really to think about.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like the people that you can impact with it, and the help that you can give them, and it's just so satisfying. It's so rewarding.
Yeah, it's satisfying when you see so many people fall in love with something that you've designed and created, and it's just amazing to see that transformation from a sketch to an actual build, and someone's actually living in that.
But also put their own spin on it. There's so many people. They're like, I love this, but what if I would change this, or what if I would change this material here? I like the idea of this cladding, but I'd rather have it like this. Yeah. And so over time, when we see more and more of these tiny houses built, we'll see the designs all over the world, but they're all in their own amazing different way.
all sort of slightly unique. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To the unique wishes needs of the people that build them. And it's just amazing to see.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
I think that was also, it was important to me as well, because the two of us, we've designed our own tiny house, and we understand that, everyone's really unique and everyone has their own ideas and their own needs. And, the plans are an amazing starting point. If you fall in love with the design as is, that's incredible. Of course, it's super easy. You can just take the plans and go from it. But we were thinking also, of course, of the people that, love the design, but they want to change something. And taking that, I've been working on the actual creation of the plan, the drafting, and all that. I was really focused on also allowing the people to actually change the actual design. So I've created a really easy to understand SketchUp model that's included with all of our plans. So SketchUp, it's the easiest probably and like lowest entry barrier 3D design tool that so many people in the tiny house industry know. Probably everyone does. If someone starts, it's probably with SketchUp. And so the idea is that you can take the model and you can adjust it. And I've put in a few little, video tutorials, how you adjust your framing and how you move a window or something like that. And it's just nice to be able to, kind of give the first start to how do you adjust it and then actually make these plans your own.
It's just creativity doesn't stop just at the design, it just goes on from there. It's just the first inspiration, really. That's what we've seen, at least. It's just everyone just loves putting in their own ideas. It's so brilliant to see.
I'm just going to give a quick mention to Tiny House Ideas. So Tiny House Ideas is my business, is my company. It's been what I've been working on for the last 5 years in the long term, and especially over lockdown, over the last year or so, I've really put some time, energy and effort into building this business. So Tiny House Ideas obviously started with an Instagram page, and it has grown and developed into the business that it is today. It's the perfect free platform for anyone interested in the tiny house movement, in the tiny house community. First of all of the images that I feature on Instagram, you can find out more information. You can get a full fact file over on the website. website. As well as that, there's a really cool tool called Find Me a Builder, where for free I will personally pair a few tiny house builders with you based on your requirements, and that will save you going through hours and hours of searching through Google results, take the stress out of it for you really. And obviously it's no obligation. I'll send you a few recommendations and it's up to you what you do with them. Another section of the website is the approved builders section. So I've been working with a few tiny house builders that I really stand behind, that I see the value in their work. So there's a profile there to sort of tell you more about them, and so you can contact them directly if you've got any jobs that you're interested in. And finally, on the website there's a section for tiny house vacations. So if you guys are looking to go away and to try the tiny house movement, to try the tiny house living, but don't know if you want to commit to it, if you don't want to live there just yet, then a vacation is a really, really great way to sort of get acclimatized, to learn more about it. And you can do that by clicking on the vacations tab of the Tiny House Ideas website and learning more and searching through some amazing holiday homes. Definitely. No, it must be super rewarding. And you mentioned there as well how you've sort of gone to sort of be able to create these sort of video tutorials, the SketchUp model, so it's accessible to everyone. And that's something I sort of wanted to touch on as well, is just the fact that having looked through your plans, having obviously been communicating with you for a year and a half now, and sort of working together on our own collaborations and things, just everything is done just in such a professional, well-ordered manner. And sort of it's just really, really refreshing. It's great just to sort of see how every single Instagram post is sort of perfectly curated, and every single sort of plan, that everything's thought of in terms of the design, the fonts, the sort of everything. It's just always looked after, and it's just sort of amazing to see just how much effort goes into such small details, and it obviously really, really does sort of pay off.
Thanks for that, Harry. We really appreciate that. We just, after putting all of that work into here, to hear that comment, it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, honestly, every detail in every single sort of, even if it's an email, a message, or a description, it's always thought out.
We're all in the same space. We all have a design background, and I guess if you have that background, you are just a little bit of a perfectionist. So in the end, you just end up making all of these little things that a lot of people will probably not see perfect. And what that it goes into emails, it goes into the brochures that we provide with our plans, just making sure that the last little, let's say, margin on a document is perfect.
Yeah.
The color is just so it's just it's awesome to see that you pick up on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, even the podcast background with your logo behind you and everything, sort of very, very sort of aesthetic, very, very lovely. It's just great to see.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, it's been, I think, more than, if we would count the hours, we're probably sitting at, I think, 15,000 hours just for the plan packages.
Wow. It's crazy.
The development of it. And it's just, when you put that much time into something, you just want to make sure it's perfect. And I think that the brochures, like Till mentioned, and the plans themselves, we've just guides, all these kind of things. We just try to, make sure that they're not just beautiful, but also easy to understand. And again, I just appreciate that comment. And I hope that anyone who picks up these plans and uses these to DIY, their own tiny house, just can appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant stuff. Well, sort of speaking of the logo that's behind you, are you obviously all sort of working together in an office now? You're all sort of coming together to collaborate, or? So
we've got a beautiful home office setup, which is taken over basically everywhere where we live now. And so that is honestly such a blessing if you think about it, with COVID, that happened at the start. And it just made us realize that if you have an amazing space like this, you don't necessarily need an office. And especially also because like a physical office in, somewhere in town or something. But for us, it's amazing because we create these digital plans, and essentially that's the main interaction that we have with our audience. And so it's perfect for us that we can actually operate from this amazing space, which is just filled with creative energy, and we can just keep creating new things rather than having to commute and be stuck in traffic for an hour each day and add to the carbon footprint. We can just directly get into it, keep designing, help people by just directly speaking to them, And it's just,
great environment too. We've actually recently, Till's partner Em has joined our team as well, and it's been great to have another girl on the team. In the space, and I think it's just a fun environment too. I think when you're working, you should be able to enjoy what you're doing too. So
exactly, it's so important.
And it's like we're able to bounce off each other. ever stuck on something, and one person, if you're not feeling it that day, it's fine, because you've got a team behind you to back you up. So awesome.
Yeah. But the thing, what Eugene mentioned, our team is growing, which is amazing. And so knowing us and knowing how enthusiastic we are about tiny homes, I feel that a tiny house office is probably on the on the horizon.
Amazing. Amazing. That would be great. So obviously you mentioned as well that Emma's come on board. So in terms of a day-to-day, when you're all working together, what are sort of the for the people listening, the sort of divide in terms of roles and what you're all up to on a daily basis?
So we've got pretty clear roles on what we do in TinyEasy. So if you want to, you can get started with what you do.
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, what I'm working on, I'm working together with our licensed builders. So we've got one beautiful builder in Australia and another one here in Hamilton in New Zealand. So I'm working on expanding these relationships and working together with clients to get their builds realized. It's a big passion of mine, of course, the designs as well.
That's what a lot of people might not actually know about TinyEasy.
that we do help build these as well here in Australia and in New Zealand. So that's one part of my my job here at TinyEasy role. But then at the same time, I'm working on expanding the plans, working together with more and more companies, and create exciting new things, listening to our audience and creating new products that really, really help people. So it's all about that innovation, and it's just a really great place to be in. It's really exciting. You have a lot of conversations with customers, and so that's my role.
That's basically you every day, to be honest.
Every day,
and I basically focus on marketing, so anything social media related, so Instagram. Been trying to vamp up a TikTok and Pinterest and everything like that. Any kind of content creation, just to sort of get people to discover us and fall in love with our designs. I guess that's basically that.
And totally the audience as well, of course, on all of these platforms as well. You have so many conversations.
The comments, it's all. But it's amazing to see the amazing audience that you've built over the last year and a half.
Yeah, I think it's been a team thing.
Yeah, true. Definitely. It's just the second round. So what do? I take care of helping people with their tiny house plans. So when people message us and they've got a question about the tiny house plans, I'll get back to them. But apart from that, I also run the back end of the business, like, for example, the fun stuff like accounting and legal stuff. And apart from that, I'm also working on building our website and innovating that every day. And now we're working together with a marketing agency to actually help us with our website at the moment, which is a really fun experience. And so just to get Emma into the picture, who's not sitting with us today, since she joined us, she's actually writing the Go Tiny blog that you might have seen on our website. And so what she has developed over the last month and a half is a series that actually explains everything that you should do to get started with your tiny house journey. And so what she's done, she's broken down the main design parts of a tiny house, like, for example, everything you need to know about a kitchen, bedroom, living room, kids' bedroom, bathroom, if I didn't already say that. And so she's been amazing at that, and she's growing that knowledge base now for our audience. So when people are not quite ready to get started yet and commit to a plan, they can then dig into that knowledge base and understand, okay, what is it, everything that I need to know. And I think right now she's actually working on another blog right now, which you'll see soon. Yeah,
she's got such a great design insight as well, because she's also got a background in architecture as well.
Yeah,
amazing.
I think I'm the only one not doing that. But it's been amazing to hear her design insights, and she's got like a different perspective on how you can approach something, because obviously we get a lot, and so she can look at it from a different perspective, which is amazing. It's a great way to sort of communicate how to just think about a space and everything.
It's just a very fresh approach to explaining everything you need to know to go tiny. To be honest, it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, it's a great team. I'm really, really all working together. I think it's when we started out, the way it works now, I didn't imagine it at all. It's much, much better than I expected, and it's just so great to be able to work together. Of course, I mean, Eugene, of course, we're partners, so it's amazing to be able to work together every day. It's a real blessing. And then, of course, together with Till, very obviously my twin brother and his partner as well. So yeah, it's just a group of friends that have the possibility to work together to do something amazing. Yeah.
It's really fun because we don't just spend time in the office together, but once we're done working for the day, we then spend time together and we go to a beach, we go for a surf, we go for a hike, go for a trip together, and it's just
enjoy some cocktails.
Exactly. Yeah.
The main thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's just awesome that we've got this group of friends really that we just enjoy spending a lot of time together with, and we're
not sick of each other yet.
Exactly.
That's always good. That's always a good sign. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. I mean, it must be great fun. And obviously, I take my hat off to you guys for sort of forming such a great sort of relationship and sort of being able to work with your friends and to be able to sort of be doing what you're doing. And like you said, it's great to sort of be able to have that relationship where you can all sort of go out afterwards, and it makes sort of coming to work so much more sort of enjoyable and fulfilling. And it's great that you're able to do that. And sort of going back to sort of the business and how we said, I guess it sort of ties into as well how in terms of sort of the tiny house lifestyle and the sort of intentional living with your business sort of being online, and you're able to sort of connect with people all over the world from wherever. It gives you the freedom as well to sort of pursue those sort of different areas of lifestyle. And if you did want, you could sort of even take your laptop down to the beach one day or whatever, or you can sort of work on your terms and live on your own terms, which is amazing. So you're all winning in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just so much fun that we have this business that it's really not connected to a place,
Yeah.
I mean, the plans, the product that we distribute, it goes all over the world, and essentially we can do the same thing. We're not tied to a place, and the idea is definitely there that we go to different places and just keep running TinyEasy from wherever, and so with what Lauren said, from PR right next to the beach, so we're always close to the sea when the weather is nice, and then the options are limitless, and it's just such an amazing lifestyle that we wouldn't be able to do if we were not working on our own project. It's just fun, to be honest.
Definitely. So what's the next step? Where do you see TinyEasy going in the coming months, in the coming years? What's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of exciting things that we've dreamt up. We've got in the pipeline. So realistically, at the moment, that innovation that we're doing. So first of all, the plans that we currently offer, of course, we're trying to improve these and work together with our audience and get those to the perfect standard. And it is just creating new connections. So we're looking at working together with some amazing tiny house builders, designers, and DIYs as well, to work together with them to bring plans out to the audience of love tiny homes. I think it's a really beautiful opportunity. But then as well, of course, just creating a lot more content, like not even like it is free information, like the blog, but just a really, really good knowledge base that helps you get started and just understand everything that you really need around a tiny house. So if you're just starting to DIY, you have a place to go to understand what you need to do. So there is a place to go that kind of guides you from start to finish, and that is really what we're trying to work towards, that in the end, someone who has never heard about a tiny house before and just seen one video and would love to take on that journey, they can come and have a look through the blogs, the information, and then eventually get some of our free plans to understand how these houses look like, and then work off one of these plans to build their own tiny house. And that is the future of TinyEasy, probably within half a year.
And then there's always more goals, and so the way that we're approaching TinyEasy, it's very, very much that we just listen to what is needed, and then we create that, rather than dwelling on one thing and creating this in our own little huddle, and then hoping that someone will actually appreciate it. But instead, we want to just listen out. What is it that people in the tiny house community really need? Then we create that and just help as many people as possible. And so there's not necessarily like a 5-year plan or something like that. Yeah, because we know that the business is going to evolve into a very very awesome, very awesome thing that we couldn't really know yet.
Yeah, exactly. So many things change.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, that's right. I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, first of all, expect to see probably a lot of questions come up on social media, a lot of new ideas coming out, and anyone who sees these posts, these stories, or whatever platform we'll be using, if whatever idea we're throwing out there that you're interested in, reach out, and we will probably work together with you to create that, because that is eventually what we're trying to do. Work with our audience to create information, products, or anything that really helps. So yeah. That will be a lot of that in the future.
Yeah, a lot of Zoom calls. Yeah, a lot of emailing back and forth.
Just hitting us with the raw feedback. No,
that's right.
Exactly. Sugarcoated. We want the hard stuff.
Yeah, we want.
Brilliant. Well, I guess that's great that you've got the flexibility to be able to sort of adapt to what sort of your audience is after, and to be able to sort of provide them with that, with the knowledge and experiences that you've all picked up. So you're able to obviously respond to these things. So for those that are listening, if you'd like to sort of just run over maybe some of the blog titles I know you mentioned briefly earlier, and some of the sort of other information that people can find from your social media and things.
Yeah, so the best place to start with the blog is called the Go Tiny blog. If you look at us on our website at tinyEasy.co.nz or tinyEasy.com, that's both us, you will land on our homepage, and then you will see the Go Tiny blog, which is a great resource for you. And then another great resource, which we've just actually recently released, is a bundle of all of our free plans that we have available all in one spot. And so if you are looking to get started with your tiny house journey, but want to have some very comprehensive free plans of 3 beautiful tiny house designs, then you can get these on our page. So if you visit tinyEasy.co.nz or tinyEasy.co, the first thing that you will see is that, and it will give you all the information possible that you need. But otherwise, it's tinyEasy.co/free-tiny-house-plans.
It's mouthful.
We'll put that in the description. We'll
definitely. Yeah, that'll be in the description. That'll be in the description for sure.
Well, you remember that, though.
That's impressive. It's impressive.
I'm in the thick of it. I've built everything. So.
Oh, funny. Brilliant. Well, no, for those that are listening, obviously there's so many great resources that people can find to sort of learn more about going tiny, and to sort of understand sort of what you need to sort of think about beforehand, what sort of needs planning, what you need to sort of discuss with either yourself if you're looking to do a DIY, or with a builder if you're looking to have it sort of professionally built. And there is sort of just such a huge wealth of knowledge on the website, on the Instagram and things. And for people that are sort of interested in them, for them to sort of send you a message and get some answers is great as well. So definitely for anyone that's listening who is interested in DIYing some plans or having them built, then TinyEasy is just such a fantastic resource that I can't sort of recommend highly enough. So yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, so what we missed to mention is, if you want to visit us on Instagram, it's @tiny.easy. You'll find us very quickly on there. And yeah, we're always reachable via a DM or a comment, and or
even a phone call.
Email. We'll get back to you if you've got any questions. And so we love talking to you, to the community, and so yeah, we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Brilliant stuff. So yeah, like we said, that's a sort of great place that everyone can reach you and reach out. And I just wanted to say again, a huge congratulations for what the 4 of you have built over the last year and a half. And it's sort of so exciting to have watched you sort of grow so quickly, and especially on the Instagram as well, sort of seeing that sort of follower number shoot up, and sort of see the amazing content, the amazing plans that you guys have been coming out with. And it's just sort of so like I said earlier, so refreshing to sort of be in touch with you guys and to sort of keep in the loop with it all. And there's lots of exciting stuff to come. So it's just been a pleasure to speak to you and to hear more about it, and to hear the future plans. So I guess that the last thing to say is sort of obviously best of luck when you're moving into the tiny house coming soon, and best of luck with everything that's upcoming with TinyEasy.
Thanks, I really appreciate it, Harry. It was amazing talking to you, and thanks for having us.
No problem. As always, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Tiny House Ideas podcast. If you've got any questions, any suggestions, any questions for future episodes, any ideas, then please do get in touch. Instagram's the easiest way to reach me, at Tiny House Ideas. If you'd like to support the podcast, as I've mentioned, it's available on Patreon to support, and we've got a private Discord group there where we can have the discussion. We can really break down the podcast, talk about each episode, talk about upcoming episodes, and also watch all of the new releases early.